USSR support to India is an act of friendship or a geopolitical game. This year marks the 50th anniversary of the Indo-Pakistani War of 1971. It was an unconditional surrender of 93,000 Pakistani troops against the Indian troops at the Dhaka racecourse in East Pakistan, now Bangladesh. So how was this all possible? It was the bravery and valor of our great Indian armed forces. But there is also another point which we should never ignore. That is the Soviet Union's diplomatic and military support to India, which we can't ignore. And they have also supported us against the US and UK, both diplomatically and militarily, and also vetoing any proposal made by the US and the UK at the United Nations Security Council. But why did USSR help India? Like many of them will have this question: why did USSR help India? Why it wanted to get into a nuclear war for a friend which was neither an economic power or military power. So for this you need to actually get into the background, but before the background you need to read a particular page in the Mitrokin archives. So this is the Mitrokin archives part 2, and so I want you to read a page in page number 320 under the chapter The Special Relationship with India part 1. So it is written that in August 1971, Mrs. Gandhi signed a Treaty of Peace, Friendship and Cooperation with the Soviet Union. According to the Permanent Secretary at the Indian Foreign Office, T.N. Kaul, it was one of the few closely guarded secret negotiations that India has ever conducted. On the Indian side, hardly half a dozen of people were aware of it, including the Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister. The media got no scent of it. A delighted Gromyko declared at the signing ceremony, "The significance of the treaty cannot be overestimated." Mrs. Gandhi's popularity among the Soviet people, he later claimed, was demonstrated by the large number of Soviet babies who were given the unusual name Indira. The Soviet Union seemed to be guaranteed the support of the leading power in the non-aligned movement. Both the countries immediately issued a joint comic calling for the withdrawal of US troops from Vietnam. India was able to rely on Soviet arms supplies and diplomatic support in the conflict against Pakistan, which was already in the offing. So what was actually written in the treaty? Like what made it so important and crucial for the India's national security? Actually, more than the whole treaty, the main thing is the Article 9 of the treaty, which actually makes the whole point. So it is written that each high contracting party undertakes to abstain from providing any assistance to any third party that engages in the armed conflict with the other party. In event of either the party being subjected to and attach or their threat thereof, the high contracting parties shall immediately enter into mutual consultations in order to remove such threat or to take appropriate effective measures to ensure peace and security in the country. So this directly or indirectly means that yes, if you attack on India, then USSR will come to India's support. But we obviously have this question that why did USSR sign this deal or this agreement with such a country which is neither a military power nor a economic major at that point of time. So this was somewhere in the mid of the Cold War. That the Cold War started in 1947. It ended up in 1991 after the Soviet breakdown. Again, now people say that it again started after Russian invasion in the Crimea, and now the CAATSA sanctions everything. So this was in the mid of the Cold War. Pakistan was a major ally for the US. Okay, and then India was moving closer to the USSR because yes, India is getting very cheap and cheap in price and cutting edge military technology from USSR. So USSR was sure of the conflict with Pakistan. It is surely going to happen, and so influenced the Indian politics. The treaty gave assurance to India that USSR would come to India's help in case a conflict breaks out. So USSR's intelligence agency, which is the KGB, actually influenced a lot into the Indian politics, especially supporting the Indian National Congress. So India winning war against Pakistan, which is nothing but US defeat in USSR. Why? Because it was a geopolitical game. Two adversaries, US and USSR, chose two puppets. US chose Pakistan as their puppet, USSR chose India as their puppet. So if two adversaries choose two different puppets to win against each other, it was not a direct military battle but an indirect military battle. So US and UK were forced to send their battleships against India because, and obviously that from the Indian side it was kept completely secret, so not even the media had scent of it. Therefore, even the US and UK were unaware about such a agreement, which actually meant that yes, if we attacked India, then USSR is coming for India's help. So when they reached the Indian coast, they found that yes, they were all Russian battle groups. I mean, the Soviet battle groups. So this was a clear US and UK defeat in the Cold War. Like, it was one of the defeats, but at the end, yes, there was this Soviet breakdown, and there was like no a diplomatic, not a diplomatic, but it was a geopolitical disaster. So India was the face of Soviet's military diplomacy. Soviet influenced almost everything in the country, and therefore we can come to the conclusion that yes, Soviet did not show up that friendship in this like in our relations. It generally chose to look after its own interest rather than showing some act of friendship. At the end, yes, we even want to conclude that none of the geopolitics is all about, no one is a permanent friend nor an enemy. Okay, they are only common interests, and even interests change, therefore you can never have a permanent friend or an enemy. But the thing is, we have some reliable partners. Like in today's world, we have Russia, France, and Israel, which are India's most reliable partners. Yes, and with them we might have some diplomatic differences, or we can't come to a same point at all the situations. But yes, they are more reliable partners than the US. Even when we move closer to the US, it's not that they are somewhat like trustable partners, because yes, we have seen what happened in Afghanistan. We are seeing what will happen to Taiwan, what will happen to Syria and all. So we can't trust such a country. So our relationship with Russia is always unique. It was very unique with the USSR. But yes, at the end of the day, no one is a permanent friend. No one will show up that act of friendship to you. It is always, every friendship will have its a personal interest factor. So yes, we need to support and stand with these long-lasting friendships. Like, we can't say a friendship, but a relationship with, especially with countries like Israel, France, and Russia. Thank you, Jai Hind. Have a nice day.